So cars on track for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup for GT4 machinery. And this session already underway. We haven't got anybody onto flying lap, but it is about to be so because the car's coming towards the conclusion of an outlap. Free practice earlier on was topped by the two Lotuses of number 75, Lau Kai Loa and Adam Christodoulou. And the two Lotus Emiras do look fantastic. And they go through with 30 minutes on the clock for this session, which of course determines the grid for tomorrow's sole race for the GT4 cars. A good mix of not only Lotus, but also BMW, Ginetta, KTM, McLaren, and Porsche, and Mercedes AMG, and Toyota as well, all for good measure. So, the qualifying period underway, and there are the two Lotuses. 75 is Law Kai Law. The BMW that just went through shot, last year's winner, Liang Jiatong. So that's another car to factor in. Very rapid driver is Liang Jiatong. Last year he won it in a Lamborghini Huracan, and this year switching to the BMW, which has been a very successful car. The type of car that won the GT4 European Series, for example. So the car was a great success. There it is, the BMW from Harmony Racing in the Rover colours. Rover Racing, of course, has its own GT3 BMW programme. But in GT4 trim, it's the local Harmony Racing operating the car with the Rover colours.
It was quite a little battle for the two Lotus at the end of free practice this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, Law Kai Law was the quicker of the two to begin with, and Adam Christodoulou was getting there just where traffic got in the way, and that rather unravelled around him. But the two Lotuses have looked really good, not only in terms of presentation, because they do look really good, but they look competitive as well.
They look stunning, don't they?
Yeah.
I saw the post from Adam this week, sort of the first view of the car. I think he was pretty impressed as a driver that it was going to be his mount for this weekend. So, and first time here, isn't it, for Adam? I think
Probably right. I can't think that he's done the GT.
No.
Oh, and a red flag straight
already
away.
Oh no.
So that's not good.
No, not good at all. So the two Lotus going round together and slowing the pace down because they'll be heading into pit lane, seeing the notification of the red flag. The reason for which we don't know yet. We've not seen the reason for it. Not had any indication on the timing screen either. But into pit lane they will go. And that is quite a frustrating way to get this qualifying session underway, isn't it?
Well, it is, yes. And I suspect it was a pretty urgent one because we didn't even get a yellow flag. It went straight to red, didn't it? So somebody's piled in somewhere.
Yeah. No doubt we'll identify that with... It's a long circuit, over 6 kilometres. It's a car that stopped. It's the...
Is it 18?
Or 13?
No, it's not KTM.
No. It's not a Porsche, it's a Ginetta.
It is. I want to say it's 83 of Chan Chi Ho, who did exactly the same thing, if you remember.
Which is white and
free
light blue.
practice.
It is.
And he stopped the session then.
Chan Chi Ho. So...
That's got some sort of, I would offer you, electrical cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's cutting out.
So it's doing its job, the Gremlin.
It is, but it's not helping the car.
It really isn't, is it? No.
So everybody else coming down the pit lane, and that Ginetta clearly couldn't be left there at a fast part of the circuit. So there comes a point, doesn't there, where the officials have to say, look, if the car is going to do this continually, we can't let it back out.
It shows you how technology with television has come on as well, because something that was said back in the 1980s and the 90s was that not to have a gold livery on a car because it didn't transcribe particularly well through camera technology onto the television screen. It does now, doesn't it?
Does it ever?
Absolutely pops.
Yeah.
I think that I first learnt of that when Jordan decided to run their car completely in gold, didn't they, with red lettering down the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. and they didn't stick with it because
bright yellow.
Yeah, did a bit.
Yeah.
So, chance to see the cars down in pit lane. William Chern in the number 19 car. Hong Kong driver in his Mercedes. In the zone by the looks of things.
Absolutely, yeah. Others still arriving in pit lane. The two KTMs coming in. There's number 8 of Ao Chi Wang. Session will be resumed on short call, and that Ginetta is possibly just going to be thrown into the sea the way that it's affected the event thus far. So they'll pick it up, they'll swing it left, and eventually drop it down somewhere.
That's quite a boom on that crane, isn't it, to get right the way across the track, yeah.
But again, so much thought goes into this.
It does, yeah.
What's the best way that we can keep the event on schedule? Move cars quickly. How do we do that? We lift them, and if we're going to have the crane on the other side of the road, then yes.
Big long boom arm, swing it across. I can't get over just how lovely these cars look. It's weird how it plays with your mind as well. When you know they're also quick, you like them even more.
It's true, that.
Yeah.
Ginetta there, number 2 of Brian Ly's car, the Parkview Motor entry, which went well this morning from memory. That car was in the top 6. But Lau fastest, and there is the repaired 18 KTM of Li Shanyu, because that was another car that hit the barrier this morning, but looking KTM shape once again now.
It is, and a remarkable and unique shape as well, isn't it? It's a great bit of design, that car. I'm glad we've got a couple of those out this weekend. Really good to see. A lot of manufacturers represented in GT4 this weekend for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup. BMW, Ginetta, Toyota, KTM, McLaren, Mercedes. We just got a couple of McLarens. We have, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, there's Ip Yun Ho's 570S, and I think is that the only one? No, there's another one for Patricio Wu.
That's it, yeah.
The Macanese driver. There's number 11 of Kanchi Y, Mercedes AMG. With the rather fearsome crocodile on the side of it.
Yeah.
Rather more understated is the Rover BMW of Liang Jiatong. Again, session will be resumed on short call, so it won't be long, I think, before we're in a situation to be able to let the cars go. Green flag shown.
Wow.
So Ginetta out of the way. There's the BMW from the Macau Watt stable, Calvin Leung, which was about to blast away, but there are others trying to do exactly the same thing. So
it's
he gets
got
going
good brakes, hasn't it? Needed them as well.
Yeah.
So the session gets back underway. We say that they hadn't completed one quick lap. They hadn't completed one slow lap.
And this will be the same. So they're going to lose, let's say, 3 laps now.
Yeah.
It means that it's a 20-minute session, effectively.
It is, essentially. Yeah. Well, I think the team working on that Ginetta need to get to the bottom of what that problem is, because clearly they thought they'd resolved it, but now it's not. And it's just going to end up a frustrating weekend, not just for them, but for everybody else as well. So no doubt they will. Lotus are playing the team game today, aren't they? 2 of them together once again. Traffic in front when they complete this warming up lap, this out lap from pit lane. And it was the 75 car this morning of Law Kai Law who was quickest in the Toro Racing Lotus. It's the Emira, GT4 Emira, and these are dream cars, aren't they? All of them, as you make your way down the field. Cars that you'd be very happy to open the garage door and see them in. And a huge spread of different manufacturer cars. This is going to be a good one, this. It's a great entry.
And further proof of how popular and how strong GT4 racing is these days. Whether it's here, whether it's in America, whether it's in Europe. And there, Akai Law will get through the traffic. So, just as he did in free practice, oh so keen to get clear track space. And finally, terrorised out of the way there is Ken White.
Well, he sort of jinked out. It was quite menacing, wasn't it? I'm here.
Yes. Sort yourself out.
Make sure you see me.
I'm coming through. So Lord Kailor accelerates on.
Up towards, or down towards the Macau hairpin. There'll be more traffic to deal with. It was quite a slow approach, wasn't it? To get a little bit of track space between the two Lotus and the cars in front. It was maybe a good place to do it up at the Macau hairpin, which is a pretty slow approach.
The subplot to all of this is that both Lord Kailor and Adam Christodoulou are quick. They're together on track. But who's going to come out on top? Because each wants it to be him. And so the internecine battle between the two teammates, I think, is going to be just as interesting as the race overall.
Adam weaving the car to get heat into the tyres. Lord Kailor is not doing that because he's broken off. He's getting ready for this lap. If you remember, the first of his flying laps today, so committed, so committed. Let's see if this one is going to be similar. Yep, it looks like it's going to be. Car skipping around. I love the body language of this car. You can really see when they're pushing on and powering on down towards this awesome corner at Mandarin. Slingshot through the corner and then down towards the braking area for the right-hander at Lisboa. The start of the more twisty section of the circuit. Adam Christodoulou, for what it's worth, put in the best of the two Lotus. In fact, put in the best of anyone on that first sector. At 25.9, through Lisboa they will go. And then start to climb up through the tight and twisty section of the gear circuit here at Macau, into Teddy Yip around the left-hander, through the Solitude S's, onto Pale, which is the left-hander, and then the run up towards Police. That's a problem for the number 19 car. That's William Cheung.
That's up the escape road, isn't it?
And it is. A three-point turn can be exacted there.
I think that might be Lisboa, but
yeah, it was.
Straight on.
Yeah.
So the yellow flag shown as the Lotuses battle together.
I had this conversation many years ago when we had the what was it called, the Lotus Elise Cup, wasn't it? And the man from Lotus, or it might have been a woman, I can't remember, told me very definitely the plural of Lotus is Lotus.
Ah,
so
white sheep.
So yeah, so no, I was putting an S on the end of sheep. It's more amusing. But apparently the plural of and so I then got fascinated with the question.
Right.
So I asked the question of a Ford person about the plural of Ford Focus. And I was then told the plural of Ford Focus is Ford Focus.
Is that right?
Apparently so.
Gosh. Did you just ask the one person, or was it a focus group?
Very good.
To the plot. Here
yes, there is one.
Here are the Lotus. In fact, here's a BMW and a Toyota, just to break the trend. So Liang Jiatong, now second fastest. And behind him is the car that's quickest. Han Li Chao in the Supra, look, has gone quickest of all. 2:35.838 now. So here you've got a great little battle. Adam Christodoulou now goes quicker than anybody. 2 minutes 30.815 in the Lotus.
First time we've seen that today.
Yeah.
The quicker of the two Lotus. Adam Christodoulou. 2 minutes 30.815.
7/10 quicker than his teammate. So that goes back to the earlier point about this intra-team battle. And look, Lord Kailor putting himself ahead of Adam Christodoulou. Brian Lyes Ginetta gets between them, interestingly, comes right across the road. And I don't know what all that was about, because he wasn't going for an apex. That was like a proper race block, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was certainly more a manoeuvre for a race than you would see in qualifying normally. And Lord Kailor is now ahead and has got the view of the rear of Adam Christodoulou's Lotus now. The only car in front, and I did rather think when the announcement was made this week that they were going to be here, and the calibre of driver that was going to be in them, I thought, well, they're going to be quick.
Yeah.
They would not be here to do anything else than be at the very front of the field, that's for sure.
Another good thing about GT4 machinery is that although they do have aero, clearly, it's not as much as on a GT3 car, or certainly not a sports prototype LMP spec car. And so what you have is quite a bit of movement. And around a circuit like this, there, look, the Lotus wagging its tail, or Kylor accelerating out of police with the tail trying to step out of line. They just look quite spectacular. And
they do.
The driver's input rewards them.
They do. And Adams dropped back, hasn't he?
Well, he had, except Lord Kylor has now backed off and got in Adams' way. But Adams the quicker anyway.
At the moment, 88, Adam Christodoulou, the British driver, 2:30.815, 7 tenths ahead of teammate Lord Kylor. Through the Melco hairpin they go. Down from the Melco hairpin into Black Sands and Fisherman's Bend. They can open the cars up, really make them skip around on the circuit, because the two Lotus do exactly that, don't they? BMW right on the tail of Lord Kylor.
As here, you've got Kelvin Leung, number 6 BMW, looking for a way to get past number 7 Toyota of Han Li Chao, who was the quickest. He's now third, but on that lap, Li Chao no faster.
So, 16 minutes just over of this session remains, so we are approaching half distance. And after having that red flag so early on in the session, we've actually getting some proper laps in now, aren't we? Lap after lap, so they can get themselves properly into this. Put a few laps together, makes a big difference. So number 1 BMW just ahead. Through goes, oh, bit of weaving to get heat into tyres there.
Which you'd think would have been done by now.
I would have thought that would have all been done by now. But, just on the run from Lisboa into San Francisco, a little extra wiggle. So, rundown of the order. It's 2 Lotus at the front. 88, Adam Christodoulou. 75, Lord Kylor. 7 tenths between the two of them. The target time, 2:30.815. Car number 7 is third at the moment. That's Han Li Chao in the Phantom Pro Racing Toyota, the Supra. And fourth quickest is Kelvin Leung in the number 6 Song Ven Racing Team BMW. Fifth place, car number 1, the Harmony Racing Liang Jie Tong in the BMW as well, the M4 GT4 car. And completing the top 6, the number 99 car, and that's the car of Lo Ka Chong. So that's a rundown of the top 6 into the second half of this qualifying session for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT4 cars. Heading down towards the Melco hairpin. No overtaking throughout the course of the weekend and next weekend as well. That's the rule about Melco. You can just get through it. Don't try and do anything silly.
So they're number 7 of Han Li Chao, third, the Toyota GR Supra, which again is a bit like the BMW. It's a big car. I mean, it's on the same build platform anyway, but front engine, lots of grunt, goes really nicely, and hustling now up towards the timing line once again. What does Han Li Chao do? He goes up to third, and Liang Jiatong up to fourth, so Kelvin Leung falling to 5th quickest now.
I'll tell you what Lord Kylor did. He's just completed another lap, has put in a personal best of 2:31.2, and also that included an overall best in sector 4, and that brings the gap down to Adam Christodoulou of 0.4 of a second, so 4 tenths between the top two. We've got a yellow flag at turn 15, which is police, so we'll see what that problem is in a couple of moments. It's the right-hander, it's a tricky right-hander at police. It claims many over the course of a Macau Grand Prix weekend, and with a yellow flag being displayed there, we shall wait and see what happens to the remainder of this session. 13 minutes just under of this qualifying session remains.
Whether or not the car in question can get going again, but here the cars that are 4th and 3rd in the order, Liang Jiatong, Han Li Chao, BMW and Toyota respectively, are heading to that part of the racetrack, aren't they?
Well,
but there's still only a yellow.
Just a yellow at this stage, and once the BMW Red flag, okay. Oh. Did my voice express disappointment then?
Did a touch.
It did, didn't it?
Yes, it dipped. It dipped.
Well, I'm disappointed. I was becoming quite positive they'd be able to resolve that, but we haven't seen the problem, have we? We haven't seen what it is. So red flag comes out with 12.5 minutes of this session remaining.
Well, there's your problem. There's a car hidden from view.
There is, yeah.
But it's enough to stop the session.
Yeah, well, that's a place that historically does catch a few outs, and the whole track needs to be absolutely clear of anything other than the track furniture itself in order to complete a session. And this session comes to an end for this part of it with 12.5 minutes remaining. So everybody heading back into pit lane. So a pause in action for the Greater Bay Area GT Cup GT4 cars. Guess what? GT3 cars are after this.
They are.
Plenty to look forward to this afternoon.
And F4 after that, which is going to be really interesting after the free practice session this morning. The drivers have had a lot of time to go away and learn and think, and it's a Ginetta that has caused the stoppage. Ploughed straight on, very nearly ended up in Hong Kong. It went so far off that, but that was quite an impact.
That was odd, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's not been a good session for Ginettas again, has it?
It hasn't. No, you're right. The best of the rest. Car number 7, Hanli Chow in the Toyota Supra. Those Toyotas are very much today the class of the field, aren't they?
Yeah. 2 Lotus. Yeah.
By some margin.
Yeah. Yeah. It surprises me that the gap is such, and it's almost tempting to suggest that the BOP might be looked at for tomorrow. It's not unusual for balanced performance to be reviewed after qualifying if there is a massive difference. And of course, with the Emira being new, it's been a bit of an unknown quantity. The balanced performance, which is normally worked out by SRO's technical genius, Claude Semon, is really the kind of area that only a very, very astute technical brain wants to go towards. Because the one thing that you can't always do, of course, is factor in the pace of the driver.
Yes.
And therefore, it's all very well to say, well, that car's too quick, but, well, actually, maybe you need to drive yours faster. Green flag is shown, but you can't really say that to everybody.
No, you can't.
But it's going to be factored in there somewhere.
So, 12.5 minutes just under we've got of this session to enjoy as they line up down pit lane, keen to get out. A bit of a queue at the end of pit lane, some of them holding back a little while to let the first cars leave pit lane, and then the clear track for the number 17 car of Terence Sir, and that car leads the field out. It's quite a bump, isn't it? Yeah. Quite a bump in the road. I don't remember seeing it being quite as much. Has there been a little bit of resurfacing there? And,
yeah, different patches of texture of the colour, aren't there? Yeah. Right, that battle that's been going on all day between Liang Jiatong and Hanli Chow is carrying on another outlap from the pits. So they're together again.
Up San Francisco Hill they go towards Maternity. The right-hander down on the run towards Teddy Yip, the left-hander, and then into the Solitude S's here on the gear circuit at Macau, the world-famous circuit. The world-famous city here at Macau is really looking forward to 2 weeks of celebration for the 70th Macau Grand Prix. 2 days of motorsport on the gear circuit this weekend, and 4 days at the end of the week and next weekend as well. All culminating in the prestigious Macau Grand Prix at the end of next Sunday. Plenty of racing to look forward to over the course of the next week.
Yeah, there's a double dose of single-seaters because you've got Formula 4 and Formula 3. There's a multiple dose of touring cars with TCR China and TCR World Tour. And there's more GT3 with the FIA GT World Cup next week. And you add motorbikes in as well. Yeah, fantastic programme of races to absorb over the course of the weekend. The car that caused the stoppage was Brian Lai, number 2 Ginetta. It has been brought back and the front of it is a bit shorter than it was, so he certainly wasn't going to drive away from there. So Brian Lai's Ginetta was the result, or the cause, I should say, of the drama.
Oh dear. And we're looking at the back of the Lotus, the number 88 car of Adam Christodoulou, who is currently quickest, twisting the way through the top part of the circuit, through the left-hander at Donna Maria, and then up towards the... Oh no, beg your pardon, got the wrong part of the circuit there. So through into Police now goes Adam Christodoulou. There are multiple turns left and right through the Solitude S's, and then up towards Faraway Hill, which leads up towards Police. And Adam back weaving the car again.
Yeah.
So, bit of heat lost down in pit lane. This the outlap from pit lane, so gives us the impression Adam's going to be pressing on this first flying lap, isn't it?
But he knows how to read a session. He knows what to do with the car. So he knows that at the moment he can't really afford to push because he wants a bit more warmth in the tyres. So we've been in the pits for a little while. Now the pace starts to quicken again. Around about 5 minutes or so, I think, lost with Brian Lai's Ginetta being retrieved. There's the Audi through. Not that many Audis in GT4, certainly as many as they used to be, but Miguel Lay with his car welcome on the grid.
When they turn out of Reservoir, the exit barrier is so close. If they're properly pushing on, so close. And that sets them up for the run down towards the vital Mandarin. Vital not only because it is so quick, but also because it's the run down towards Lisboa, which is a gift of an overtaking opportunity. If you get everything right on the run down towards the corner, it's potentially the best overtaking position on the circuit. And it's very tight, and you have to make sure that you've got the manoeuvre completed before you get into the corner itself. Car skipping about again for Lokai Law.
And that wasn't the bump you were talking about earlier on, so it does illustrate just how daunting that section is. It's very fast and it's quite bumpy.
It is, yeah.
And then imagine doing this next week on 2 wheels.
It will happen.
Yep.
And it will happen with some of the world's finest motorcycle riders. I can't wait for that. We don't talk about that, but
no, we can go watch it.
It does allow us to go out to the grandstand and enjoy it. And it's historically, apart from the race, it's early in the morning as well. So 2 days running, they'll be out 7:30, something like that, first thing in the morning.
Well, on account of what my bedroom window overlooks the bit between Reservoir and Mandarin,
Coming
I might
to work.
watch the first lap.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The first lap from up there.
That would be a first time, wouldn't it? What a good idea. You're lucky to have a track-facing window.
Do you not?
No, I haven't, no. No. All right.
Little good does it do me, because I'm here, but you know what I mean? It's
well, it's nice to have you here.
It's quite nice to have a look over the track.
There, that would be good.
Right, Terence Say's Mercedes we've just been seeing. 6.5 minutes of the session still to go. And Liang Jiatong down to 4th, number 1, last year's winner. The other BMW behind there, they break for Lisboa of Yang Chun Lei. Everybody back out again, or at least those that can. 93 Ginetta. Do I mean 93 Ginetta? I think I do. Goes through. '83 Ginetta. Chan Chi Ho. Whoops, another one off. That's number 19 Mercedes of William Chung. Not for the first time today.
That used the escape road at Lisboa already, didn't it?
Yeah, I think he's done it again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it.
It is an option. It is the best option down at Lisboa to use that escape road, but twice in the session is quite damaging. That's that lap gone.
Yeah. And the danger is, while you're sitting there trying to sort yourself out, somebody else comes up the escape road and it all gets a bit messy. But I think for the moment he's okay. So William Chung looking to rejoin. 39 BMW then. That's the Li Yanhan entry. And there's a KTM in strife now, so we've lost Lee Shen Yu. He had an accident with the Armco in the first session of the day in free practice. And can that car get out of harm's way? Just under 5 minutes on the clock right now.
So we've got 2 yellow sectors now, Sector 1 and Sector 2 as well. One for the Mercedes down the escape road in Sector 1, and that, the KTM in Sector 2. Red flag.
Dear, oh dear. 4.5 minutes still to go. And the KTM did hit the barrier, got sideways, clattered it with the left rear, left front, left rear, left front, and then sort of skittled along. And so the red flag is shown, and the session is interrupted once again. So drivers making their way back round to the pit lane. I'm assuming that we will go again. There's probably just enough time for another lap, isn't there? An out lap and a flying lap. So got the drivers now making their way towards the pit road once more. And the session will not be resumed. The session will not restart. So they've had, if you like, their 2 efforts at it, and that's that. So race control say effectively enough is enough. And they will be next on circuit. So Adam Christodoulou takes provisional pole position for the Greater Bay Area GT4 Cup from Lo Kai Law and Han Li Chao. Liang Jiatong 4th from Calvin Leung and Lokar Chun. Then you've got Li Yan Han from Terence Say, William Chung 9th, and Yang Chun Lei in 10th. 11th was Brian Lai, who caused a stoppage. Zhang Jianfeng next, ahead of Lau Kim Ho. Kan Che Wei was ahead of Kenny Chung, and then it was Wang Wei Hong from Miguel Lai. Patricio Wu 18th, Li Xuan Yu next. And we'll see the cars, of course, tomorrow for their race, the Greater Bay Area GT4 race. GT3 to come.